Hey guys, welcome back. Last time we kicked off our new series on structuring a deal and the nuances of different structures. We talked through structuring deals with asset sales versus stock sales and how that affects different entity types. Today we'll talk about scripting how a seller will receive the funds for the purchase.
Most of the time when we are sitting down with potential clients, we get this exclamation from them, I want my money up front.
Yeah, all the time.
Today I have Dave with me. As much as I'm technical, he's creative in helping our clients structure transactions. I tease him all the time that he doesn't have the constraints I have because of the technicalities that go through my head. And so when he starts what-ifing me, I roll my eyes. And so, Dave, what if? No.
Well, that's okay. But you can ask that question, but you may not get as much for your company. That's the point. The idea of seller financing is to help the buyer put together his capital stack in the cheapest way. Mm-hmm. So this benefits the buyer and could help negotiate a higher price if we kind of play with their game a little bit. Another positive is that some proceeds can be deferred to a later tax year, which guys like you like, Grant, which could spread the tax burden and use multiple years of lower tax brackets. But there is a risk to the seller. Will the buyer have the cash flow to pay the loan? That's a great question. The seller loses control over the business and the cash flow. And the seller's note will most likely be behind or subordinate to any other bank debt, which depletes the collateral and takes away the seller's ability to prosecute the loan should something happen. However, the discipline the bank will require is comforting, knowing that they will require financial reporting and good ratios to begin with.
No question. Many of the deals we've done in the past year have the buyer buying less than 100% of the company, right, especially here lately. The buyer keeps some equity in anticipation of what we like to call a second bite of the apple. While this can be very lucrative for the seller, the rolled equity is typically subject to dilution. If they buy more companies, let's say, right, they raise more capital. And you need to make sure that the class of shares that you keep are on the same level as the buyer has to avoid that dilution. And you may want to negotiate some kind of out, a put option, to be able to sell your shares if you don't like the direction the company is taking.
Right. And I'll go on record to say we've done both.
Yep.
And we've gotten bit once.
Yep.
And we've taken, and we're hopefully going to take a bite of the second apple in some other deals we're in. Private equity groups like it when the seller stays in for some equity. It encourages them, and it reduces their capital requirement also, and it gives investors confidence because the seller is willing to stay in, and generally it keeps this institutional knowledge interested enough to answer the phone even when sipping on a martini on the beach somewhere, right?
That's exactly right. Most deals that do not have seller financing include something called a holdback. This is when the buyer holds back 5 to 10% of the purchase price for a period of time, usually 6 to 18 months, to ensure that there are no surprises. They're generally things that the buyer can subtract from the holdback, and we generally give notice and then an accounting of where it stands. We rarely see a holdback being hit if the due diligence and deal prep is done correctly, right? I mean, we haven't seen a whole lot of it. But stuff happens, and this is a great way to protect the buyer. Yeah. When the seller is not willing to trust the buyer, then he or she can make the buyer put the holdback in escrow, right? Where the escrow agreement calls for specific management of those funds and eventual disbursement. There are more nuances to how deals are paid for, and your circumstances most likely will warrant a combination of tools to accomplish a win-win for both parties. Come sit at our table and let us help you get there.
Look forward to meeting you.
Hey, thanks for joining Grant, Dave, and the rest of our team today. My name is Andrew, and I'm with the business development side of ICCG. If you have any questions or want to talk to somebody on our team, please visit our website, follow the directions there. I'll most likely be the one to respond, so look forward to hearing from you. Before you go, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time.